Nigeria's creator economy is booming. It's now valued at over $31 million, turning from a side hustle for young people into a driver of jobs and digital innovation. In 2024, Nigerian YouTube channels racked up 20 billion views, earning about $10 million. Spotify paid Nigerian artists $37 million, that's more than double the year before. Now, the industry is now Nigeria's third largest entertainment sector, alongside Nollywood and Afrobeat. By 2025, the wider creative sector could be worth nearly $15 billion and support over 4 million jobs. But challenges remain. More than half of creators make under $100 a month, while only a few earn above $5,000. Poor internet and low ad rates limit growth. Analysts say the future lies in creators moving from content into commerce building, brands and businesses beyond entertainment. For analysis of the growth and expansion of creator economy, CEO Communicate, who is also a journalist, David Adeleke, joins us now. David, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, you've heard the statistics, the figures, as it were. So is it a good thing or there's room for improvement?
So first of all, thank you very much for having me here. I'm glad that we were able to map out the state of the ecosystem as it is with the reports that we've just launched. It's a good thing because it shows that there is activity in the market. But it's also a pointer to how much further we still have to go as an ecosystem. But already you see from the data, I mean, over 54 billion naira that Spotify has paid out to Nigerian artists and creators, and then the number of views, 20 billion views racked up by Nigerian YouTube channels in the past year. That's 2024 alone. I'm pretty sure 2025 will be much higher because the level of activity in the ecosystem has increased since then. And then there is a platform called Seller that helps creators to monetize. Last year, Seller paid out 9.88 billion naira to Nigerian creators. So it shows you that there is activity in the market. The challenges that you've mentioned, they remain. But also it's now, can we go from just creators who see themselves as side hustlers to people building actual businesses? That's the conversation that we need to have, and I think it is possible.
Yeah, it's good to see possibilities, but of course that is not without addressing the key challenges. And of course, topping those challenges, we see the fact that more than half of creators make under $100 a month, while only a few earn above 5,000. We have issues like poor internet and low ad rates that are limiting growth. But what are you hoping to achieve, especially with this year's report? What needs or gap in the industry are you hoping to achieve or to close?
The biggest for us is it's a policy conversation, first of all. TikTok is one of the largest, if not the largest, platform for creators in Nigeria. And we see the same patterns across multiple African countries that we look at. But it's a policy conversation because why are creators producing content and not being able to monetize from it? So there is that policy conversation. That's why we published this report, and we've done it in partnership with our friends at Technology Media Company and the National Council of Arts and Culture. So there is that ongoing conversation. But the other part of this is infrastructural. And when I say infrastructural, I mean the business thinking around the ecosystem. Because a lot of creators, like you've seen, about 40% see it as just a side hustle. It's just something that they do in their pastime. But there is a lot more opportunity. But the other part of it is also the investment. Investors have to see the opportunity in this market and want to put money into it, because the truth of the matter is, if Nigerian investors do not step up, to the plate, investors from other parts of the world, they already see the potential. And you see it from the way they invest in the platforms themselves that the creators are using. A lot of these platforms are not Nigerian platforms. They are foreign platforms. So they see the opportunity, but I think we need to have more intellectually stimulating conversations locally, first of all, and we also need to encourage people, to do this thing as a business, not just as a side hustle. I mean, I left my 9-to-5 to focus on building a media company. So, because I see an opportunity in this market.
Very good. Yeah, yes, despite the challenges and of course the prospects, as you've highlighted, how pivotal is Nigeria's creative economy in Africa, you think, especially when it comes to digital aspect?
It's very important. And I'm saying this because last year we did the Africa Creator Economy Report. And when Mr. Obi Asika, who is the DG of the NCAC, saw that, he thought we had to do something for Nigeria. And he is correct, because Nigeria in many ways is the heartbeat of Africa's cultural revolution. Everywhere, I mean, I was in Nairobi a few weeks ago, and people were talking about how Nigeria is doing so many fantastic things that we would like to see also in our market. So Nigeria is the main character, whether or not people want to admit it. So there is a lot of opportunity for us here to go from the level that we're currently at to the level where we should be. And that's the reason why we've done this report.
There's this popular narrative that if you're a Nigerian and maybe you are a content creator on, say, a platform like TikTok, it will be more difficult for you to monetize your page than for someone who is maybe Caucasian or foreign. But that's not my focus. I'd like to know how, for instance, your report points to growth in certain sectors. I'd like you to walk us through the top 3 trends shaping the Nigerian creator economy right now, and also touch on that issue I mentioned earlier.
So let me start from there. That is partly a policy conversation, like I said. And again, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, there was no Ministry of Creative Economy in Nigeria. There was Arts and Culture, but there was no Ministry of Creative Economy. Yeah. Now we have a Ministry of Creative Economy. That is a massive first step towards where Nigeria can be. But the other part of it also is economic. When advertisers come on platforms, they spend certain amount of dollars. The ad spend digitally in this market compared to Western markets, the gap is really high. So we need more people to spend on more digital advertising in Nigeria so that creators can earn more from AdSense. Please remind me the other part of first part of your question again. About
how if you're a Nigerian, it's more difficult for you to monetize your page on some social media platforms.
Yes, and then you talked about the trends as well. So I think the biggest trend that we're seeing is more people are embracing digital products. Like I said, Seller paid out nearly $10 billion last year. That is a Nigerian platform, paying Nigerian creators 10 billion naira. That is not small. The year before, it was less than half of that they paid. So essentially, Seller is growing 100% year on year. That's just one platform. There are other platforms that are doing the same thing as well. So what we're seeing is people creating platforms that are solving local problems, and then creators themselves coming on those platforms, to monetize. Usually when people think about the creator economy, they think about monetizing through brand sponsorships. But our data shows us that brand sponsorships are concentrated to about 3.2% of creators. So it's not something that everybody can have access to. However, with just 1,000 followers, for instance, and that's what our sample size is. We looked at hundreds of thousands of accounts with over 1,000 followers, and that's where most creators fall, between 1,000 and 999,000 followers. Those people, the creator middle class, are making significant money from selling digital products. The other part of it that we're seeing is more local organizations are starting to get involved in this. MTN, for instance, all the telcos are creating specific data bundles that allow people to be able to create at less cost than they would have done in the past. And I think the third biggest trend is, it's a buzzword, but it is a buzzword for a reason: artificial intelligence. More people are, so it's two things. More people are creating content using artificial intelligence. And I mean, I have a friend who just started an Instagram channel dedicated to creating Nollywood shorts. So 60 to 90 second AI generated from end to end.
Which is almost becoming a disaster.
So again, you're going to see flooding in the market. It's normal, but you're also going to see the cream rise to the top. So the high quality content is going to rise to the top. At the same time, you're seeing people who are using artificial intelligence to improve the quality of their work. And that means that content creation becomes cheaper than it was before. So those are the trends that we are seeing in the market.
All right, David, just before we go, briefly please, there's pressure also to remain relevant in the creator economy, and it's also a stumbling block to progress, as it were. So how do we go around this briefly?
So I think people have to keep creating, right? It's natural evolution. People have to keep creating. but you also have to create with the mindset that I need to reach a global audience. And to reach a global audience, the fact is you need to produce quality work.
And you have to be unique.
You have to be unique. You have to stand out. And for me personally, that's something that we're always thinking about at Communique. How do we produce content that is high quality, that is highly differentiated, so that if you take Communique from Nigeria to Kenya, to Joburg, to New York, to London, the quality is relevant regardless of the geographical location. So I think that's what more people need to strive to do in Nigeria.
On that note, I'd like to thank you for your time on the show this afternoon. David Adeleke, who is the CEO, Communique, thank you for your time.